You're watching the Sports and Political channel of LB. If you're not subscribed to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and share these videos on your social media platforms. All right, so let's talk about this. So, Jim Clyburn making waves on social media, and I just got done cooking on this Bama recently when a report came out from ProPublica exposing his corruption with him working with the Republicans to redraw the voting districts so that way he will be firmly entrenched in his seat. Now, there's a video that's going around social media, and I won't play the video, but you can go check the video for yourself. As a man approached Jim Clyburn and asked him about reparations, and once again, Jim Clyburn pretty much spat in the face of black folks asking him about reparations. Last year, he was cursing people out, talking about why they effing with him about reparations when all you got to do is look at HR 40. And then this year, it goes from that to you guys don't know what the definition is, and it's to repair. And hell no, we're not giving out no cash reparations and all that. That's Jim Clyburn for you. Meanwhile, he's out here kicking off his daughter and his other family members violating campaign finance laws. What's up, Day Love? To this old Jim Clyburn for you. Now, this man has been a staunch opponent of reparations and the cash aspect of it, because while he's down in South Carolina doing tangibles for the Catawba Indians, he will look at black folks and basically say that, we're going to do these things here, and that's going to be your reparations, and that's, you're not getting no cash payment. So I'm going to read a Post and Courier article. Post and Courier is the publication down in Charleston, South Carolina, and they do extensive coverage of old ninja Jim Clyburn. What's up? Wouldn't you like to know? RG Titan, salute to all y'all in the building. Good to see y'all, right? Now, they try to say that he's the highest ranking African American in the Congress. That's not saying much. That's not saying a whole lot. But anyway, they say the highest ranking African American member of Congress has major problems with two prominent ideas to address racial disparities in the economy. One that comes from his fellow Democrats, and the other championed by a Republican African American senator from his home state. He's talking about Tim Scott. In the interview, Jim Clyburn teed off on both reparations and opportunity zones, claiming that the former is impractical and the latter is unhelpful. Because he'll sit there and talk about, this is what he'll talk about. I think pure reparation will be impossible to implement, but we can deal with the issue of racial inequality if we just admit, first of all, that it exists, and then come up with straightforward ways to deal with it. What do you think reparations do, Jim Clyburn? What do you think cash reparations would do? See, he's sitting up here talking both sides of the mouth, trying out here talking in circles. What you mean reparations would be impossible to implement? So let me get this straight. Education opportunity is a form of reparations. Get your old, crusty, dusty, musty behind up out of here. Sitting up here talking about, well, if you get some education, some housing opportunity, that's your form of reparations. No, it's not. It's not more than smoke and mirrors. It's like you say, it's poppycock. Now, his comments come amid increasing debate among 2020 Democratic presidential candidates about the idea. The idea of reparations has been around for decades, but rose in prominence after fake-ass Ta-Nehisi Coates mentioned it in this mentioned it in the Atlantic magazine, but that's disingenuous because the 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 reparation topic has not been popularized by Ta-Nehisi Coates, and then only for him to go to some reparations hearing and just go totally against the grain and totally go against it. So no, Ta-Nehisi Coates ain't no reparations guru or no expert. I get out of here. Clyburn, this is what Clyburn said in this article. He fears reparations would lead to contested debates about who would be eligible due to the sprawling family trees that have evolved in the generations since slavery was abolished. So we got two different talking points here. Well, how will we know who's eligible for it? And slavery was a long time ago. So you can't get reparations because how will we know that you are even eligible for it? It's easy. It's lineage based. You know that, Jim Clyburn. You sitting up here putting out weasel words because you don't want to do the work. But you sitting up here lying to folks. What's up, Kevin Wedderburn? Instead, he wanted to push this 10-20-30 policy. That's his idea of addressing the racial wealth gap. He wanted to push this 10-20-30 policy, not cash reparations. Now, that formula calls for directing 10% of government funds to the counties where 20% of more of the population has lived below the poverty line for the past 30 years. That's his idea of addressing the reparations concept. And there's this cash reparation that you've been pushing. We don't want to do that. So we're going to do instead, we're going to do this 10-20-30 policy. No, we don't want to do no 10-20-30 policy. We don't want to do that. We want you to pay us what we owe. Can 2030 policy. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Now you sitting up here talking about, hell no, we're not doing that. We're not doing no cash. We're going to do some education opportunity. Well, let me ask you something, Jim Clyburn, right? Because this guy here sitting up here spitting in our face, tell about, no, we can't get what we owed, and no, you can't get this, and no, you can't get that. Did you tell that to the Catawba Indians? Huh? Did you tell that to the Asians and the Palestinians and the Japanese and the Jewish community? Did you tell them no? But no, you get to wag your finger at black folks when we demanded something. If there's one group who hates the idea of reparation more than these suspected white supremacists out here, it's these black politicians like him, like Jim Clyburn. Because see, he'll be the guy that 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 gets in the way of progress. He'll be the guy that gets in the way of progress. And the same old thing all the time from these old ninjas. Same old thing all the time from these guys. And you got people out here capping for Jim Clyburn. You got people out here capping for Jim Clyburn, man. All day, every day. You hear these bootlegs on social media. These guys cap hard for Jim Clyburn, but they can't tell you not one thing this man has done that has benefited the black community. They can't tell you not one thing. But they cap so hard for this dude. But they can't tell you one thing that Jim Clyburn has done that the black community can rally behind. Can't tell you one thing. But they'll sit up here and go on these long-winded diatribes about what they did and how they did it and whatever like that. And when I ask them, hey, so how does that benefit the black community? How does that benefit you? They can't say it. Or somebody act like they some nerd all of a sudden come up, well, you actually have to apply for those programs. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. You guys cap hard for people that you don't know. You guys cap hard for people that don't care about you. You guys cap hard for people that won't even spit in your direction. They can't tell you not one thing that they supposedly have done. Right? The Congressional Black Caucus, them dudes ain't nothing but a bunch of sellouts, man. For real. Them dudes ain't nothing but a bunch of sellouts, man. They'll twerk their ass and got dang on DC for that K Street cash, man. And just keep it 100. He's been doing this nonsense since 1993. Jim Clyburn been on the shenanigans since 1993. I was a teenager when he was first elected into the 6th Congressional District of South Carolina. I lived in this clown's district. So if anybody knows anything about this old, washed up has-been of a politician who's still running around here being corrupt, selling his ass to the highest bidder, and out here training a new legion of bootlegs like Jamie Harrison, Bakari Sellers, amongst others. What's up, Nathan? And them dudes, they party in crowd. They made the big time. So anybody out here capping for Jim Clyburn, just know you and I gonna have a big problem. Cause that means you willing to sell your ass to the highest bidder too. He's sitting up here trying to redefine reparations with a nothing burger in HR 40. Him and Sheila Jackson Lee, while cursing you out at his world famous fish fry, because all he thinks about when it comes to his constituents is 2 pieces of whiting with coleslaw, Diet Coke, and French fries. And if you ask about reparation at his fish fry, not only you won't get your 2 pieces of whiting with coleslaw, Diet Coke, coleslaw, and French fries, you get kicked out of it. They'll kick you out. Yeah, yeah, just wait for me to get back to the community. Yeah, I'll give you 2 piece fish. That's my way to get back to the community. Hey, man, hey, why you fucking with me about this reparation, man? Oh, you need to HR 40. HR 40. Reparations to repair. Also, you do know what reparations is. Then he tried to go on some nonsensical diatribe about how his wife was something, and down his family tree he had a white bird. I'm like, get your old, crusty, dusty behind up out of here, Jim Clyburn. You make me sick. And all you got, you know what? And I'm gonna look past this old sharecropper. I'm gonna look past this sharecropper because I'm pretty sure there's some of you out there that's listening to this video that supports this guy. You keep showing up to the darn polling place to vote for individuals like this. Why do you support Jim Clyburn? Did Jim Clyburn come to your wedding? Did Jim Clyburn come to your funeral? Or your kid's funeral? Did Jim Clyburn give you a textbook? Did he put money in your pocket one day when you was down and out? Huh? Did Jim Clyburn support a business that you was running? Why do you support Jim Clyburn? Can anyone that's listening to the sound of my voice answer that question? Why do you support this man? This man owns the 6th worst district in the United States with a median salary of less than $50,000. Now, who in the hell could live on $50,000 in this society, in this climate? What are you gonna do? You go buy church's chicken every day for 30 days? On 50, that's the only way you can survive on $50,000 a year. As if your rent, because I'm telling you right now, rent ain't getting no cheaper. Rent ain't getting no cheaper. So unless you live in a hut, or you living with somebody, you living on church's chicken every day, you're not getting by on no $50,000 a year. You're just not. But see, this is the same guy who supported the 94 crime bill. Yes, old ninja Jim Clyburn supported the 94 crime bill written by Senator Joe Biden, who is now President Joe Biden. 30 years ago, almost 30 years ago, Joe Biden wrote that infamous 94 crime bill. He was parading around as Biden's law, and baked in that crime bill was a $13 billion incentive to build more jails. And guess who supported it? You guessed it, old ninja Jim Clyburn. Now, when Biden's presidential campaign was on his last legs back in 2020, he came to South Carolina, and guess who was right there in the forefront trying to get him some power play. He was trying to get him a little power play. We know Joe knows us. We can't have Trump. We can't have 4 more years of Trump. You need to get out there and vote. Because we know Joe. Joe knows us. Yeah, I know Joe all right. Joe is the one who was out here having disdain and contempt for the black community, but I'm supposed to support that guy, right? Yeah, okay. Whatever. What's up, Terry Smoot? Lemon Pepper Lou? Wouldn't you like to know? Salute to all y'all in the building. Thanks for enjoying my commentary. Right? He stood up there and tell black folks we can't get reparations, but you gotta support me. You gotta protect my legacy. You gotta support me. Because we know Joe. Joe knows us. And he tried to do the same thing with Jimmy Harrison. Jimmy Harrison looking like a goddamn on black marshmallow man off Ghostbusters. And what he do? What did he do? What did Jimmy Harrison do? Oh, he lost to Lindsey Graham, a.k.a. Lady G, who likes getting hogtied and pissed. Not, he likes getting hogtied and dominatrix style at that too. Hogtied dominatrix style and whipped with an apple in his mouth at the presidential suite at the Hyatt on Saturday nights. That's Lady G for you, a.k.a. Lindsey Graham. He lost to that guy. J. Michelle Childs, a woman who put a black man in prison for 12 years over an 8-ounce bag of weed. He tried to get her on the Supreme Court. Where that end up going to? That end up going to Ketanji Brown Jackson. Right? Now, for those of you who need a refresher of what happened with Ketanji Brown Jackson, right? Well, look no further to Jennifer Lewis, right? Jennifer Lewis did a nice little rendition for Ketanji Brown Jackson. DJ, spin that shit.
It's rolling. We've come a long way to Justice Brown Jackson. We came in to celebrate Justice Brown Jackson. We came from Harriet and Sojourner to Justice Brown.
Lord have mercy. Mm-mm-mm. Now I wonder if J. Michelle Childs wanted this kind of thing had she been nominated to Supreme Court. But look, all wasn't lost for J. Michelle Childs because she got the consolation prize. J. Michelle Childs. Now now I'm about to show y'all a picture of her, old ninja Jim Clyburn, and some random white supremacist. Right? That's J. Michelle Childs. Right? Same woman who put a black man in jail for 12 years over an 8-ounce bag of weed and another suspected white supremacist. Right? All was not lost for her because she ended up on the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals, which is the second highest court in the land under the Supreme Court. So I guess, Jim Clyburn wanted to I don't know. I guess he wants to feel like he has some stroke, that he has some power. But being the most powerful man in Congress, or being the most powerful black man in Congress, is like being the richest man in the poorhouse. So all that right there, all that bootlicking, buck dancing, spit shoe shine is disgusting, man. Unacceptable off-brand, off-code behavior that we got to deal with. People like myself, who grew up in South Carolina, that has to watch this buffoonery play out. And then when you try to tell these old folks that's supposed to be our ancestors, supposed to be people we supposed to be looking up to, we tell them all the corruption is going on. This is what we get told. Oh, well, you just sitting up here believing conspiracy theories, don't you? Jim Clyburn don't support Donald Trump. I'm like, and so what? You just can't believe everything you see on TV or listen on the internet. People be putting out that kind of misinformation. Jim Clyburn done a lot for the black community. Really? Did he? Did he? Then how do you benefit from it? Hmm? If he did so much for the black community, how do you benefit from it? Hmm? Now, Jim Clyburn, he wouldn't mind kicking off his bug-eyed freak daughter or other members of his family. But the only time you get anywhere close to old ninja Jim Clyburn is when you at his fish fry. And that's annually. It's not monthly. It's not weekly. It's annually. I mean, only one time a year, maybe 2 times a year when he's up for re-election, right? Because that'd be the other time you see old ninja Jim Clyburn. And then when we'll ask about reparation, he'll be like, hell no, I don't give it up no cash payment. I ain't giving up no cash payments. Don't ask me about no goddamn reparation. Why'd you get a piece of this fish? Get a piece of this fish. These old ladies work so hard cooking this fish. Get you some fish. Don't no goddamn reparation. See, people like Jim Clyburn is why we need term limits in Congress. What's up, Terry? Yeah, exactly, Terry Smoot. We need term limits in Congress. No more than 2 terms. And if we take the money out of politics, we won't have none of this buffoonery that's going on. These guys are here in their 80s in this nonsense. And Elijah Cummings, the only reason he's still in Congress because he's dead. We need term limits. You got guys like Dianne Feinstein. She don't even know who she's talking to. Dianne Feinstein, a senator out in California, she's almost 90 years old. She talk about stuff that happened 30 years ago, like it happened yesterday. Well, when I was making that baked potato back in last week, ma'am, that baked potato you made that was last year. You made those baked potatoes. Well, I told you I made those baked potatoes last week, and I forgot I put some salt in it, ma'am. That was last year, not last week. Oh, They wheeling her and they wheeling her ass around like in a goddamn wheelchair. You got John Fetterman. John Fetterman, he out there catching strokes and all that. He campaigning from his hospital bed. John Fetterman did. And they sitting here talking about what we can't get. But you want us to vote for you, but you telling us what we can't get. Boy, I tell you, man, y'all got the game real messed up. Anybody that's listening to the sound of my voice understands something. They work for us. We don't work for them. So don't let these individuals who be twerking their ass in K Street for some cash come around every once in a while when they're up for re-election trying to tell you what you need to do. No, you don't need to do nothing. They need to get their behind and their minds right and let them know that if you don't want to push our policies, we'll get somebody in there that will. That's how that works. Because see, people like Jim Clyburn has gotten too comfortable. He's gotten way too comfortable. He in there for 30, almost 40 years, carrying on this goddamn corruption. You got a reparations bill, a nothing burger that's been sitting on that goddamn on desk for almost 40 years, and you can't get that thing passed? But you're supposed to have all this stroke, right? You're supposed to have all this Clyburn. Get your ass out of here. Then you want to do everything else except just cut the check. You want to do everything else and then try to push that off as some form of reparations. Get your ass out of here. Boy, I can go on and on about this thing, but I ain't got that kind of time. But I can go on about this thing because this man right here is a detriment to the black community. The black politician, the Congressional Black Caucus, them dudes and them chicks, right? You got Maxine Waters out there in California telling homeless people to go home. Meanwhile, she not taking care of people in her district. She's out in goddamn on Minnesota. You ain't got no district in Minnesota, Maxine Waters, you California raisin. What you doing out there? You got Karen Bass, aka Karen Basset Hound. She ain't doing nothing out there. She supposed to be the mayor. All these dudes, man, all you dudes are disgusting, man. You guys are disgusting. You guys are toilet bowl scum. I mean that. And that toilet bowl scum, you can't even get off with comment. Make me sick. Trying to tell you, man. As soon as we can get rid of the old guard, that's we can get some changes around here. We could really put pressure on folks. But as long as we got people like Jim Clyburn running around here in his 80s, still kicking like that dang on a 1964 Ford Mustang, we ain't never get no progress made. You're not subscribing to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share these videos on your social media platforms. Just know, Jim Clyburn, we coming for your lazy, old, rusty, dusty, crusty ass. That's right. We coming for you. Shouts out to the LDBC. This your man. Scream at me. Hey!